So today we're going to talk about social media, specifically some of the pitfalls that you can fall into with social media as an artist. Before we dive into the specific pitfalls, I want to go over the two goals of social media. It is to gain exposure to potential fans and to move those potential fans into a relationship with you, not in a weird way, but just building a legitimate connection online that you can use to then promote to that fan, that potential fan, to make them a real fan, and then they will ultimately support you in your musical endeavors in your career. So that is the end goal, right? Just those two things is to gain exposure to potential fans and move those potential fans into actual fans with social media. So the common pitfalls that we fall into as artists is... The first one is vanity metrics. Vanity metrics is metrics that make you feel good. So numbers like follower count, likes on posts, that make you feel good and successful without actually driving any real world results for you. What is the purpose of social media? Right, gaining exposure and building fans. If you just have a strong social media following, is that actually gaining exposure and building fans? Gaining exposure, maybe, but what are you gaining exposure to? Are you actually gaining exposure to your music or just you as a person? Because you can post a lot of funny memes about your dog and gain a huge following on social media without actually getting any of that following to listen to your music. And so it's better to have a smaller audience on social media that is actually engaged with your music and your music endeavors rather than just you as a person. Maybe they just think you're really attractive and so they follow you, so you pop up on their Instagram every once in a while. So this kind of falls into the rest of my points I want to make is that followers are not necessarily fans. Followers are not necessarily listeners either. So just because they follow you does not mean they are engaged and does not mean they actually listen to your music even. Again, like I said, maybe they just think you're sexy and they just want to see you pop up on their feed once in a while. They don't care at all about your music. Last thing I wanted to talk about was your audience on social media is not necessarily your audience. What I mean by that is if you're on Instagram and you're using Instagram to try to develop your fan base, your audience on Instagram is Instagram's audience, right? They exist there so that Instagram can feed them ads so that Instagram makes money, not necessarily you. They help you if you're keeping them on the platform by putting out engaging content for your fans. But their true motive is to actually make money by showing ads to your fans. A great example of this too is in MySpace. There's a lot of bands, a lot of artists that were very successful on MySpace that when MySpace died and moved over to Facebook, they didn't move their fan base with them. They could not get their fans to then re-like them on that new platform. So as an artist, don't think that if your social media platform dies that you are seeing success on, if that dies tomorrow, you're not going to be able to move that audience anywhere, except for your maybe very most loyal fans, if you're lucky enough to have fans that loyal. Avoid vanity metrics. Make sure that your audience, you're putting out content that's actually going to engage and connect with your ideal audience. Don't put out just dog memes unless that's centered around your music somehow. Because a large follower count does not equate to actual success in your music and your career. So make sure that that's front and foremost, and make sure that when somebody goes to your profile, they know what you're about. They know that you're a musician, they know that you're an artist, and they can hear your music on your profile. People are lazy. They don't want to go digging for it on Spotify or SoundCloud. They want to be able to see it on your Instagram itself up front somewhere. That being said, this is kind of doom and gloom on social media. Social media, again, is still a valuable tool, but because of these downfalls, I highly recommend every artist that I work with to develop an email list. If you have an email list of your actual fans, people who are engaging with you and want to support your music, it's also it's free to contact them. You can contact them on your terms, and you don't have to pay, say, Facebook to actually promote to all of your fans. It's completely in your control. And so being able to build that email list is key in order for your long-term musical success. I will be back next week to tell you how to actually build your email list through your social media and actually use your social media effectively to build those relationships with your fans.